What is going on, everybody? I want to try to keep this short, but I just got off work. It's raining, and on my way home to do a couple things. And I need to know what other people think about what's going on right now. We as American citizens, as the taxpayer, you and me, not government, we just gave Ukraine another $350 million. You got to remember, the government doesn't produce money. They don't produce wealth. I messed up. They do produce money. They print it, and that's it. But they do not produce wealth. They're printing millions and millions of dollars, trillions of dollars, all the time. And they're giving it away. We pay for it. They spend it. Are you happy with the United States government giving another, this isn't the first time, it happened a lot of times already, to Ukraine, not including the rest of the countries that we've given millions of dollars to and billions of dollars to. But we just sent over another $350 million to Ukraine. And on top of that, we're sending missiles over there. Does anybody have a problem with that? Russia has specifically said, hey, if you give them weapons, they know that we're already funding it, but now we're giving cluster bombs to them. And again, Russia has specifically said, if you give them weapons, that is an act of war, essentially, and it will be dealt with. Does anybody have a problem with that in America? Did you vote to give Ukraine weapons? Did you vote to give them a cent? While millions of veterans and homeless people starve in America and go without care, and even the working class person goes without care because they can't afford health care, we're giving wealth away. Illegal immigrants get free health care. They're getting treated. They're getting funded. They get paid. New houses, free phones, free food, while you pay for it. Does anybody have a problem with that at all? I do. I have a huge problem with that. Going back to the Ukraine thing, Russia said, hey, if you give Ukraine weapons, that's an act of war. Coincidentally enough, Russia and China have ships and planes, and they keep getting spotted in Alaska, near Alaska. Over the last couple weeks, they've spotted quite a few different planes, and they've spotted some ships up there. And the U.S. government sent, a couple hundred troops up there, up on some island with some kind of anti-defense, whatever. Does that not seem like a false flag waiting to happen to anybody? Does that not seem like a black swan waiting to happen to justify us going to war with Russia, not including anybody else that we're about to go to war with? Does that not seem like there's something about to happen up there? And nobody cares. Nobody seems to care about that. Nobody seems to worry about what's going on anymore. Everybody's in dreamland and la la la, it's not happening. And, my football team, blah, blah, blah. Y'all need to wake up. You, as an American citizen, that's whatever rights that we have left, need to wake up and stand up and start speaking out and being vocal about what is going on in our country. You need to realize that our government has been infiltrated a long time ago, and you are being used. Your wealth is being used to fund things that you do not agree with. And if you don't stand up and take action and start speaking out against it and saying stuff and voting these pieces of crap out and standing up for your community, it is never going to get any better. And I think that's the point. They want it so bad in this country. There are so many things going on right now. There are so many different aspects of how this country is being torn apart, little by little, every single day. From economics to political to humanitarian. You can make somebody in America that loves everybody and wants to help everybody start to despise a certain, people because you see them over and over again getting free stuff and you don't get anything. And I'm not saying that myself. I'm saying I see people like that, to where sooner or later, people that want to help everybody are going to say, no, I can't do it anymore. And it's not because they don't want to, it's because they can't. They're going to say it's not fair for an individual that comes into this country illegally to get more than somebody that was born here and works and pays their taxes. It is not fair for the American citizen that pays their taxes, that works and contributes to society, to be stepped on. And as they sit there and watch somebody that hasn't done anything for the country except for break laws coming here, they should get stuff and you shouldn't. They talk about equality and diversity and whatever, blah, 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 DEI, and, it's communism is what they're trying to get. They are not trying to raise everybody up in the country. They are trying to lower us to the rest of the world. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but a lot of the world is not financially established as America is. And they want everybody to get low to that. They can't bring the whole world up to America's, wealth, I guess, is whatever you want to call it. So the only way to make everybody fair is to lower America's standards. But all that does is look, man, I'm sure a lot of people come from other countries because they're trying to escape bad things. I get that. I do. I really do, man. I get people trying to escape bad shit. But there are many of those people coming over here the wrong way. If you want to come to America, do it legally. There are avenues to do that. But a lot of these people aren't coming over here and looking for a better life. They are looking to bring their really bad ideology and the way of living over here. They are getting funded and paid for. And it's not just those people too. It's the people in America that want it to happen because they don't pay anything either. There's so many lazy Americans, man, that just sit around and get free shit, get welfare. I get welfare for helping somebody. I get helping out families that are struggling to get by when, the mom and dad have jobs and they can barely afford anything. I get that, dude. Growing up, we had food stamps as a kid. I get that. My mom had like 1 or 2 jobs working as a kid. But somebody that lives on welfare and gets free crap all the time and they're able to vote, that is not right. They shouldn't be allowed to vote. And we could go on and on and on about what is screwed up in this country. But giving away $350 million yet again to a country that could care less what happens to us doesn't seem right to me. Sending a couple hundred troops up to Alaska to deal with a freaking, Russia's Navy and Russia's Air Force doesn't seem right to me. It seems like our people in charge, whatever they're called, wherever, because it's not Biden, it's not Harris. So who is in charge? Who's playing this? And something else that bothered me today on the Glenn Beck this morning, he was talking about how George Soros just bought 200, I think, radio stations. Even though he's not allowed to do that legally, he's only allowed to have 25% or something because he's not an American citizen. And they're rushing it through before the elections. If that dude controls the radio, he controls the media. And there has been so many things that have been directly, correlate to George Soros that are bad. Like when George Floyd riots were happening, all that shit that he paid for down there. And, I'm a humanitarian. So is Bill Gates. He's a humanitarian. And look what he's trying to do. They're sending out mosquitoes to freaking kill everybody. Y'all need to wake up, man. As American citizens, we have to wake up in this country. We need to start speaking and talking to people and not talking in a violent manner to where it just shuts everybody off. That is the problem in America right now. There's no connection. There's no dialogue. You say your side and somebody else says their side, and you call each other retarded and pieces of crap because you don't get along, and you don't sit there and explain why yours. And I get people, you can explain your stuff to them, and they're gonna say, "Oh, you're a Trump supporter. Oh, you're a Nazi. Oh, you're a racist." Don't worry about those people, man. Those people are already a lost cause. They're stuck. They're in a cult, and there's cults on the Trump side too. Don't talk to those people either. Either side on the high end of the spectrum, whether you're left or right. The high spectrum people, they're goners, dude. They're gone. You can't pull them out of the cult. Let them just fade away. But the people in the middle, to where you can talk to them, where we can have discussion, where we can have dialogue, and maybe come to an understanding. We don't have to agree on everything, but we should all agree on funding the military, funding the border, funding homeless, things to help people get out of homelessness. Start getting rid of all these social welfare things in America. Stop giving money to other countries. Stop giving all our military away. Look at the Afghanistan withdrawal, man. Millions, what was it? Millions or billions? I can't remember. It was a lot of money in military equipment. And it wasn't just the money, it was the technology. It was the technology. Biden just left it in Afghanistan. And we don't need that. We're going to need it here soon, dude. Giving away all the ammo, giving away all the oil reserves, giving away all of America's shit so when something bad happens, we won't have anything left. And people do not realize that it's for a purpose, dude. It is for an intentional purpose. So when we are invaded or taken over somehow, we won't have anything here to defend ourselves. We won't have any fuel to push our stuff, to make it work. We won't have any ammo to defend our country. We won't have any gas or diesel to run our tanks, to fly our planes. You won't have gas to get to work, dude. You won't have any food to feed your family. That's why they want you so caught up in the system. They want you to be dependent on it. They want you to be stuck on the tit of the government, to where you can't do anything by yourself. How many dudes know how to change a tire, man? How many? That's why we're being so pacified right now. A bunch of freaking babies in this country, to where we can't do anything. Or I'll just pay somebody to do it. When you can do it yourself. Everything is free online. All the information you could ever find or ever need is free online through YouTube and Google, Brave. I wouldn't recommend using Google. I would use Brave, or I don't know about DuckDuckGo anymore either. I've heard they were compromised. But you can get VPNs to search whatever you want. You can go to bookstores and buy whatever you want. The information to do anything and everything in this world is free almost. 99% of the information is free. But the problem is we're too lazy as a society to go after it. We're too lazy as people. That's why everybody is poor, man. It's not because, yeah, I get we could get paid more. We could get a better pay because of inflation. But the reason you're poor is because you can't break out of their system. You'd rather blow it on stuff than what they tell you to buy. You're too lazy to think for yourself. You're too lazy to start a business. You're too lazy to do anything. You don't have the willpower to save and be financially responsible. I was like that. I was stuck in that, man. I made really good money in my last job. And I wouldn't say poor, but I lived paycheck to paycheck because I was stupid with my money. Now I make significantly less, and I have more money in the bank now because I became wise to it. I became more self-disciplined with my finances. Before, I had spending money. I didn't care. I knew next week I would make a certain amount. It didn't bother me. But now that I have to be more conscious about it, more aware of it, I started thinking like, hey, maybe I shouldn't go out and do that. And it's crazy if you save up a couple $100 each week, what you can achieve. If you stay on top of your bills, what you can achieve. If you stay on top of things, how far you get in life. But nobody wants to do that anymore. Yeah, I said I was going to try to keep this short and not rant, and I'm sorry I did again. The points I wanted to discuss were, why are we sending so much damn money to Ukraine again? And what is going on in Alaska? If anybody has anything to share about that, let me know. If you have any comments about that, if you know anything, what's going on up there, y'all have a fantastic evening.